What's going on, guys? Gaston right here, and we are going to talk about the Leica M11-D. But I was hoping to make a first impression video, but I got to talk about something else. There is an issue that I came across, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it. And today, I just want to share that. Hopefully, Leica is going to fix that really quick. So let's go. Welcome back, guys. Gaston right here. So some of you guys know that I did an unboxing video about my first impression of the Leica M11-D. And I gotta spoil this one because this one has been an incredible camera. From the very beginning, this camera performed flawlessly. Not a single hiccup, not a single crash or anything like that, like some of the other Leica cameras that I owned. Let's actually talk about what I wanted to mention in this video. What is that particular issue that I came across with this camera? And the issue is going to be that as soon as I got this camera, I did not have an SD card. So I started recording photos onto the internal memory. Now, this camera has 256 gigabytes of internal storage, just like the Leica M11 monochrome and M11P. So it's actually really, really handy. So then I actually got a card, on 128 gigabytes memory card, and I put the card, wherever the card belongs, in the SD card tray. And I started shooting a lot of photos to the point that 128 went by really, really quick. And I needed to offload all of the files from my SD card so I can continue to shoot. Could always put another SD card, right? But I actually did that, download all the photos onto my computer, my library in Lightroom. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to format the card to actually back up all the files that are in the internal memory onto the SD card, and that way transfer them to my computer. Of course, you can always connect a cable and so on. I haven't done that yet. But one of the things that I wanted to do is connect to the app, because the Leica M10-D, the way that you format the card is by connecting with the Leica's app. So you don't have a way to format your card from the camera itself. And for what I know, the Leica M11-D is the same way. And I try to look for some function in the camera, so I'm like, I can't find it. It has to be on the app. So once I pair in the app, I go to the same area where I would go in my Leica M10-D, which is when you go camera settings, and then there is an option right there to format the SD card. I couldn't find that option on the menus for the Leica M11-D on the app. So I started going through every single option and expanding the option to see if maybe Leica moved it somewhere, but I couldn't find that anywhere. So then I figured, well, maybe Leica has added that functionality to the camera itself. So I download the manuals and I read the manual in English. There's nothing on the manual, by the way, that talks about formatting the card or how to select, your storage. So then I downloaded the manual in German, and I tried to translate it thinking that maybe, due to the translation, something was left out. But again, there's nothing that talks about in the manual about formatting the card. And that's actually really weird because it's something that you should have in the manual. Although formatting a card is second nature for us photographers, every camera has that option. And I was a little bit, worried. I'm like, did Leica actually forgot that option? I mean, it just can be. So I call a Leica store and I told them about this, issue. I don't see my option to format the SD card. And they're like, let us get back to you. Then I talked to them, and yes, indeed, there is no option as of today, nor in the camera, nor in the app, to format an SD card internally. So the only option that you have right now is to use your computer to erase, your files from your SD card and then insert it in your camera, or use the Leica M11P. That's what I did to format the card. Still, you don't have an option to select, which media you want to use to record your files, whether it is the internal or the SD card, or whether you want identical backups, or whether you want to save the DNGs in one place and the JPEGs in another place. So really strange that, Leica actually released an almost $10,000 camera. That's what's gonna cost you with tax and shipping, without an option to format an SD card or manage, the storage. So I wonder why this happened, because there are a lot of videos about the Leica M11-D, even videos from Leica Academy from Australia, and they don't talk about that feature. Nobody mentions that. And I don't know if any of the people that actually beta tested this camera actually had to go through the process of formatting a card. But to me, it took me only a day of shooting and filling up that 128 gigabyte card that I needed to format it, and found out that there is no such option. Now, I don't want to jinx this because this camera is actually an outstanding camera, but Leica needs to figure that out really quick. That option needs to be available on the app as soon as possible. And to be honest with you, I am going to put a pause of shooting with this camera until that is actually fixed. For now, it's going to be my Leica M10-D and my Leica M11 monochrome, which is my daily driver. So I bought this camera kind of like to be a companion to my Leica M11 monochrome, which is, like I mentioned before, my main go-to camera. But once again, the shooting experience with this camera is really amazing. You know, not a single issue. Camera performs, you know, amazingly. And the other thing that I noticed is that the battery life seems to last forever, more than on my Leica M11 monochrome or M11P. So, you know, kudos to Leica. And again, you know, there's another video that I'm going to be doing comparing the Leica M11-D versus the Leica M10-D as well. Also want to compare it versus the Leica M11P. A lot of people have been asking that. But guys, for right now, there is not an option to format a card after you pay almost $10,000 for this camera. Not a big deal because I know the Leica is going to fix it, but I just wonder how that was even conceived, that you would release a camera without that option. I don't want to start, you know, bomb in the comments, you know, it happened, so hopefully they're going to address it, you know, really quick. And does not change at all my thinking about Leica camera. It is the platform that I love, and it is, this one in particular, an amazing camera. But anyway, for right now, we're gonna have to rely on some other methods to format our card. The way that I'm doing it right now is using my Leica M11P to format my SD card. Or, you know, like I got suggested from Leica themselves, to use my computer to dump the files and format the card there. The only problem with that option is that, you know, the card writes a specific directory. That's why it is always recommended that you use the camera to format the card. And for that reason alone, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to be risking photos for now, and I'm gonna be using some of my other cameras until that gets addressed. But guys, you know, I'm very, very active on Threads at Gaston Shutters. You know, go and give me a follow there. I post, you know, a lot of Leica topics daily. Also follow me on Instagram at Gaston Shutters, and I'll see you in the next video.